What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, and most importantly, please make sure that you are following me on Telegram at TD Media Group to help circumvent social media censorship and shadow banning. And with the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news. And today we have to head on over to New Venezuela. And depending on how this election turns out, the mayoral election between Cuomo, Sliwa, and Mamdani, we might have to change the nickname of New York City. You know, it was a nice run. We had a good run with it being New Venezuela under the Biden administration. But I'm sorry to say, man, if Mamdani wins, we might have to change the name of New York City to New Palestine. All right. But I don't want that to happen. I definitely do not want that to happen. Fingers crossed, but we will see what happens. But now let's get into some more lighthearted things before we get into what's going to piss you off concerning Mamdani and the $100 million that he has set aside for illegal immigrants. Before I upset you with that news, right, but inform you at the same time, let's get into some things that are kind of funny. I want you to look at this here. This really, tickled me. That's how you know you're getting old when you say stuff like this. Tickled me. Jesus. But this really tickled me when I saw it. Look at this. A video representation of Zohran Mamdani's fiscal policies. This gave me a good laugh, and I'm hoping it's going to do the same for you too. Check this out here.
Johan, ven, Johan. Es que Johan lee primero el letrero. Apúrate, niño. Apúrate.
This is crazy. Oh my God. Oh my God. He came back looking for more New York City taxpayers. That's basically, a snapshot of how things are going to be going in New Palestine if Zohran Mamdani wins the election, man. That's how it's going to be looking. And if you're noticing that I'm struggling to say Zohran Mamdani's last name, if you picked up on that, like TD, you fumble like twice. Not like you don't know who this guy is. Why do you keep struggling like that? I'm going to show you why right now. If I could submit to you one more funny video from Al Sharpton. Trust me, you're going to enjoy this one because I definitely did. I've watched this about 100 times and it gets me every time. This is why I keep struggling to say Zohran Mamdani's last name currently. Look at this. Al Sharpton's an idiot.
Zohran Mamdani. Zohran Mamdani.
Who is Zohran Mamdani? Who is Mamdani? Who is that? I don't know what this man is talking about.
Zohran Mamdani.
That's how you know what's going on here is purely transactional. If Al Sharpton genuinely endorsed Zohran Mamdani, you would take the time to be able to pronounce his name properly. If you genuinely felt like this is who New York needs, and I genuinely support and am endorsing this man, you wouldn't call him
Zohran Mamdani.
You wouldn't say, man, damn it. That's not his name, man. You wouldn't say that. I want to know how much money did his organization, National Action Network, if that's what it's called, if I remember correctly, the National Action Network receive from Mamdani's campaign, right? Because if you all remember, Kamala Harris's campaign donated, right, for whatever the reasons being, I believe it was, what was it, $500,000 to, Al Sharpton's National Action Network. So I'm curious to how much he was paid to get on stage and say Zohran Mamdani's name wrong, but he definitely got paid, in my opinion. I assume. Now I can continue on with the jokes concerning Al Sharpton because I do have one more video queued up, but I'll save it for later. Okay, I'll save it for the very end. Let's get into the actual news and what's going on with Zohran Mamdani, right? Check this out here. In the middle of a government shutdown where people are, already hurting, strapped for cash, Some of you guys losing your EPTs, right? Or you lost your EBT already. In New York City, Zohran Mamdani has $100 million set aside for illegal immigrants while you got to struggle. Check this out here. NYC mayoral candidate proposes $100 million funding boost for illegal immigrant legal defense services. Got $100 million for illegal immigrants. How much money do you got for New York City citizens that are struggling right now, especially with this Democrat shutdown? Zero. Let's get into this article, man. And it reads as such. New York State Assemblyman and New York City mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani said that a cornerstone of his campaign is to increase funding for the legal defense of illegal immigrants facing deportation. Mamdani, a self-described Democrat socialist who won the Democrat nomination in the mayoral race, said on MSNBC's The Weekend primetime that 400,000 of our residents are right now in urgent risk of deportation. Why is this important to, I keep wanting to say Mamdani.
Mamdani.
Why is this important to Mamdani, right? It's important to him because of the reason that it's important to all Democrats. As we all know, illegal immigrants are counted on the U.S. Census, and the higher your population is in your city/state, particularly the state in general, right, the more delegates represents you in the House of Representatives. And as many of you know, or at least you know if you've been subscribed to this channel, over the course of the last decade, states/cities like Chicago, the state of California as a whole, as well as the state of New York as a whole. I guess you could say the state of Illinois as well. But specifically Chicago, over the past decade, they've seen a consistent decline in population, quite literally over the last 10 years. So illegal immigration helps us somewhat stabilize the natural decline that's happening as people are leaving these blue states/cities and going to places like Texas and Florida. So these people are needed to stabilize that, as well as a host of other reasons too, because, while you have 400,000 illegal immigrants that he's trying to protect from deportation in potentially what we'll be calling New Palestine, though they can't vote, or at least we think they can't, because, they don't have voter ID in New York City. Though they can't vote, the idea is that 400,000, when they start having children, which obviously many of them have already started having children, that 400,000 is going to quadruple, right? Within a generation, of course, right? Within a generation, that's going to go from, 400,000 to 1.6 million. You get what I'm saying? Once these start popping out kids, which they're already doing. So that's why it's so critical to protect that 400,000. So I just wanted to give you that information on what's going on, right, concerning that. But now let's get into this direct quote from Mamdani. So as he states here, a cornerstone of our campaign is to increase funding for those very legal defense services by more than $100 million so that we can ensure we're taking every step we can to keep New Yorkers safe, to keep New Yorkers together, and to show the world that they are welcome in this city, Mamdani said. You see how he does the whole Brandon Johnson thing. We're keeping New Yorkers safe. We're keeping New Yorkers together. No. It's not New Yorkers. It's illegal immigrants, not New Yorkers. Don't play with NYC citizens like that. It's highly disrespectful. I would take that as disrespect if I was a citizen living in, well, I am a citizen, but if I was living in New York City, right? The article continues to read, New York City's budget for 2026 includes $54.5 million in funding for immigration services, including $41.9 million in free legal assistance for illegal immigrants who are facing deportation and need help with benefits. So they're already getting $100 million just in services and legal defense already. He's looking to boost that legal defense money, though. He's looking to boost that up from 41.9 million to 100 million. Who knows how much he's going to boost up the immigration services from 54 million to what? He'll probably put another 50 million on top of that too. So you're looking at possibly 200 million potentially going to illegal immigrants while you're struggling in NYC with no EBT. But I digress. The article continues to read, an additional 12.5 million would go to pro bono lawyers assisting unaccompanied minor immigrants in removal hearings, the New York Post reported. Mamdani's campaign, Mamdani. I keep wanting to say Mamdani. I shouldn't have played that video first. I'm completely thrown off.
Man, damn it.
Mamdani's campaign calls for boosting legal support for immigration services to provide representation for people and communities targeted by mass deportation. His platform calls for investing 165 million in funding for immigration legal defense services, with some of that funding set aside for specific programs. Mamdani's campaign says that access to legal counsel through the Rapid Response Legal Collaborative improves the chances of immigrants winning their cases, but underfunding meant that only 178 people were served in the program last year. So he's trying to get that money through, so all 400,000, and you know it's more than 400K. It's a lot more than that, but we'll just rest with that number. He's trying to bump the money up so that 400,000 people can get through versus 178. Now get this, the campaign adds that as mayor, he would boost funding for the RRLC from $500,000 to $25 million, increase funding for the New York Immigrant Family Unit program from $16 million to $30 million to keep families together, and increase funding under the Immigrant Opportunity Initiative from $20 million to $40 million. He has also said he plans to hire 200 lawyers to return New York City's legal department back to its pre-pandemic levels. All of this for the illegal immigrant population. Yeah, not to help defend you all citizens, but the illegal immigrant population. Now, in closing, despite finding himself as a frontrunner in the mayoral race, Mamdani's plan has promoted pushback from some Democratic lawmakers. New York is in a fiscal crisis, and Mamdani wants to rip another $100 million from taxpayers to bankroll deportation defense, rewarding lawbreaking while seniors, classrooms, sanitation, and public safety go without, said Council Member Robert Holden, a Democrat from Queens. And that's the point that I'm making here, and many have made. He's doing all this at your expense. So, I don't know what you guys are going to do over there in New York City, or I should say possibly New Palestine. You're going to vote this lunatic in and have him, give whatever little bit of money you have left to illegal immigrants, or you're going to make sure he doesn't win. Is it going to be Cuomo? Is it going to be Sliwa? I don't know. I mean, we know it's not going to be Sliwa. So I know some of you guys get mad if I say it, but Slee was a spoiler, man. He's a spoiler. Some of you guys are going to be upset about that I say that, but he's a spoiler, man. If the goal is to save NYC, you got to have Cuomo. You got to get Cuomo because Sliwa he doesn't stand a chance. But if I'm wrong, that would be great too. I hope to be wrong, but Sliwa's. Anyways, I won't belabor that point, but he allowed his ego to get in the way. He's allowing his ego to get in the way, and he's quite possibly going to be the reason that New Venezuela turns into New Palestine, right? But that's just my opinion. Don't be too hard on me in the comment section. And if some of you are mad about what I said just now concerning Sliwa, let me brighten up your mood, okay? Because I told you guys I was going to get back to Al Sharpton because he's dumb, and this is what Al Sharpton had to say a while back concerning, I believe it was Aretha Franklin, right? Check this video out in closing.
So in the words of my late friend Aretha Franklin, show some R-E-S-P-I-C-T. And the next time you get a black woman and a beagle confused, remember this: I got you.
What is he talking about? Some R-E-S-P-I-C-T, some respect. You got to show some respect. R-E-S-P-I-C-T. All right. And don't get a black woman confused with a beagle, whatever that means. Anyways, With all that being said, that does it for today's news. So please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Share this video on your social media platform. And please do not forget to follow me on Telegram at TD Media Group. The link to my Telegram will be in the description box below and pinned in the comment section as well. Thank you all for your time. And until the next video, peace and have a great afternoon.